Good day, everyone. I'm Gladys May Mindaros, and this is the report that I've given the task. It's all about Lesson 7, the practice of blended learning. So, it much has been said and written about blended learning. As an emerging or developing teaching approach, it has attracted the attention of both the academic and corporate practitioners in education and in training, while it has started to take its roots in many educational institutions worldwide. Debates continue to question the nobility of this teaching practice. As future teachers, the call is timely for you to acquire empirical and conceptual knowledge and understanding about the premise and practices of blended learning. The term blended learning or BL was defined as instructional method of delivery that combines web-based instruction with face-to-face classroom instruction. However, the body of literature forwarded other definition expressing the varied perspective and viewpoints of other scholars and practitioners in the field. According to Charles Graham, blended learning is the convergence between face-to-face learning environment and computer-mediated learning environments. Blended learning is bringing face-to-face instruction with computer-mediated instruction. Others describe blended learning as the combination of the virtual and physical learning environment. As an educational technologist and a practitioner of blended learning, this author would like to view blended learning as a combination of strategies and approaches in the process of teaching and learning using web driven instructional resources. It is mixing or combining two or more delivery modes in engaging students in active learning using the instructional resources of the World Wide Web. The author focuses her definition on the strategies and approaches because they are the key pedagogical elements in the practice of blended learning. The simple combination of information coming from the teacher and the use of web resources is not what blended learning is all about. It calls for a sound pedagogical foundation to design, develop, and deliver courses online. As discussed in the previous lesson, there are three categories of web-based instruction, namely augmented, blended, and online, as cited by Simons and Tettenberg in 2009. In the case of blended learning, this teaching approach comes in four models. Four models of blended learning, namely rotation model, flex model, a la carte model, enriched virtual model. Under the rotation model are the other four sub-rotation models, namely station rotation, lab rotation, flipped classroom, and individual rotation. What is rotation model? So in this model, the student rotate on a fixed schedule or at the teacher's discretion between learning modalities, at least one of which is online learning. These activities may include small group or full class instruction, group projects, individual coaching, and pencil and paper assignment. In this learning of the student mostly take place on brick and mortar campus except for any homework assignment. So there are the four submodels under this rotation model. The first submodels under this rotation is station rotation. In this station rotation model, the student experiences the rotation within the contained classroom or group of classroom. The station rotation model differs from the individual rotation model because the student rotate through all of the station, not only those assigned to them. This model answers the question of many who would wish to use blended learning approach that they can actually use blended learning right side the traditional classroom. This approach observes the following simple step. Step 1. It create collaborative learning station or CLS. Ideally, each CLS must have at least a maximum of 8 and a minimum of 5 members. Each CLS must have at least one or two computers, laptop, iPad, or mobile technology preferably with internet access. Step 2. Assign specific learning tasks for each collaborative learning station. One condition for the station rotation model is that at least one or two learning tasks must be web-driven or make use of instructional web resources. Step 3. Give clear and simple direction. Refrain from giving directions orally as this can create confusion and disorder in the classroom. The best way to do this is to write the direction for the learning task in a piece of paper or handout. Step 4. Give ample time for the CLS to complete their assigned learning task. The teacher should be able to estimate how long each CLS will be able to complete the given task. The teacher should refrain from talking or giving additional direction to the class as soon as the student have started performing their assigned learning task. Step 5. After completing the assigned learning task on a specific time allotted, the student will move or transfer to the next CLS and perform the given task of that CLS. For example, CLS 1 will move to CLS 2 and the CLS 2 will move to the CLS 3 and so on to show the physical rotation. This has to be done in an orderly manner. This is the stage when the student interact with the content. Step 6. After the student have completed this rotation to the different CLS, a teacher lead open discussion can follow where the student pursues and put in context the learning experience of the class from the different learning station. This is the teacher lead instruction stage when the teacher interacts with the students. So the teacher can further direct the students to go online or visit a website for enrichment or assessment. So station rotation model of blended learning is today's widely used for both in the basic education and in higher learning institution. The delivery of the K-12 program may adopt this model to provide extended learning opportunities for the students. So this is the second submodel of rotation model. So what is lab rotation model? So the lab rotation model is the same as the station rotation except that the student rotate to the computer laboratory or in multimedia room for the online learning station. This approach may be used for older students who are more responsible and those with longer class schedules because the physical rotation may take longer time. Third submodel of rotation model is flipped classroom. So flipped classroom, this model allows students to participate in online learning off-site in place of traditional homework and attend the brick and mortar school in face-to-face. And for teacher-guided practice or projects, the content is primarily delivered online, which make flipped classroom different from the other rotation models where the students simply do their homework online at night. So the fourth submodel of rotation model is individual rotation. So in this model, the teacher gives each student enrolled in a particular course or subject an individual playlist and does not necessarily rotate to each available station or modality. The teacher provides the individual students' schedules. Second model of blended learning is flex model. So Flex model is online learning services as the primary source of student learning, although at times students are directed to perform offline activities. This model provides the students with an individualized and customized mobility or more flexible schedules among learning modalities. The teacher of record is on site, and the student learn mostly on the brick and mortar campus, except for any homework and assignments. The teacher of record or other adults provide face-to-face support on a flexible and adaptive as needed basis through activities such as small group instruction, group projects, and individual tutoring assignments. A certified teacher may be around to supplement the online learning on a regular basis, while in others, minimal face-to-face enrichment is provided. There are several ways the Spartacal model may be implemented. A third model is a la carte model. So a la carte is focuses on a course that students take entirely online along with other experience that the student is having at a brick and mortar school or learning center. The teacher of record for the a la carte courses is the online teacher. Students may have two options, either on a brick and mortar campus or off-site. This is different from full-time online learning because it is not a whole school experience. Students take some courses a la carte and other face-to-face at a brick and mortar campus. Fourth model is enriched virtual model. In this model, a course or subject in which students have required face-to-face learning session with their teacher and then they are free to complete the remaining coursework remotely from face-to-face teacher. When students are located remotely, online learning serves as the backbone of learning. The practice of enriched virtual model of blended learning started as full-time rotation online school and later on developed blended programs to extend students' school experience. The enriched virtual model differs from the flipped classroom because enriched virtual model, students seldom meet face-to-face with their teacher. It differs from a fully online course because face-to-face learning sessions are optional and only when required. According to Wenner, communication is a matter of an exchange of message between man and machine, between machine and man, and between machine and machine. Communication is a driving force in online learning. There are two types of communication that can take place in a virtual learning environment, namely synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous communication does not require a constant bit rate. Example are file transfer, email, and the World Wide Web. In online learning, asynchronous communication is associated with learning anytime and anywhere. This usually calls for the use of the discussion forum tool or other tools in the learning management system. Online teachers and students can post learning activities and can retrieve the message or direction posted in the forum tool at any time. In contrast, the synchronous communication is the opposite of asynchronous. Synchronous communication takes place in real time. The word synchronous means communicating and doing specific tasks at the same time. In online learning, this type of communication calls for the use of chat rooms and online conference. This is a challenging and demanding type of online communication because it takes place in real time. The problem in access to the internet can, however, serve as a drawback in synchronous communication. So today's mobile technologies and use of social media allow users to communicate both asynchronously and synchronously. Interaction play a crucial role in online learning. According to Moore and Kersley, active learning will not take place in online environment unless the interaction is deliberately planned and the teacher encouraged it. According to Thurmond, he defined interaction as the learner's engagement with the course content, others learners, the instructor, and the technological medium used in the course. Through interactions with other learners, the instructor and the technology result in a reciprocal exchange of information. The exchange of information is intended to enhance knowledge development in the learning environment. It depending on the nature of the course content, the reciprocal exchange may be absent, such as in the case of paper printed content. Ultimately, the goal of interaction is to increase understanding of the course content of or mastery of the defined goals. So Moore in 1989 cited and defined three forms of interaction in distance education, namely learner to content, interaction learner, learner to interaction, and teacher to learner interaction.